Hi guys, Tablante here, and I'm about to teach you some basics on product photography. So before we begin, I'd like to thank the guys at Melting Pot Studios for sponsoring my venue. If you want to get into commercial photography, one of the most basic genres is always product. Now, for this sample, we are shooting bottles. And bottles is one of the basics ng product photography. And if you're shooting for commercials and especially sa product, one way or the other, dadaan sa pag-shoot ng bote. Now, the way that I would light bottles, I was never really a fan of memorizing lighting setups. Bakit? Because each and every bottle, iba-iba ang bagsak ng ilaw dyan. So there's no surefire way of lighting a bottle ng one method. And it really depends on how the shape of the bottle and how the bottle reflects against your light. That is one of the most crucial things to find out if you are shooting bottles. So, ano nga ba yung mga factors to find out paano mo ilawan ang mga bote? Now, one, you have to find out the color of the bottle. If it's clear, does it have tint? Is it opaque? Is it transparent? Those things will tell you how you will position your light. And second is, how is the bottle shaped? Does it have ridges? Is it smooth? Is it rough? Is it, let's say, matte? Is it shiny? So from there, malalaman nyo paano magbabounce yung light sa texture ng bote and what are the features of the bottle that you want to highlight. So there's so many bottles around the world coming in different shapes and sizes. So like I said, there's no single way of shooting this. Now in the case of a clear bottle such as the one we are shooting right now, it's an aviation American gin. So it's it's not exactly one of those, it's not your common gin brands that you get to see. And what's nice about this, ang ganda ng shape niya. You see ridges on the back and actually ang challenge sa kanya, clear siya. And you can't just light this ng basta-basta. Kasi for one, either wala kang makikita or it acts like a complete mirror sa ilaw mo. So, ang key factor ngayon dito is how can you bring the textures out given na clear na nga yung bote at clear pa yung liquid. Okay, double na yan. Pa siya double whammy in a sense. Clear yung bote, clear yung liquid. Paano mo mapalabas ngayon yung textures ng bote? Okay, so now, this is all about the play of light and shadow. So whenever you're dealing with something that's clear or something that's white, kailangan mo mapalabas yung contrast and shadow. So for this lighting setup, I'm going to be using two types of lights. One is a malaking strip dito on the camera left, and a regular, more rectangular looking softbox on my camera right. Now, why did I choose a softbox for the background light? Para mas kalaking ilaw at mas spread even yung white. Now you'd wonder, bakit isang side lang? So during my experiments, there's no single way of lighting a bottle. And ang aim ko dito sa bote na to, mas mapalabas yung ridges sa back niya. When I tried putting two lights nagsabay kasi, ang nangyayari, pantay yung ilaw, nawawala yung ridge design. So this is all about bringing out the shadows of the bottle, but at the same time, you're not removing the white of the background. The light coming from the large strip light will actually hit the bottle on the camera left over here, illuminating the label. Now, what this light does is that as it fires here, it creates a shadow on this side. And I want to accentuate those shadows. I do that by actually using these blockers. Where are they made of? Actually, we just made these lang. Kami lang gumawa nito. And this is made out of Sintra board. Pinupit lang namin and make it, voila, instant stands. And these are the little cheats, hacks that you could actually do to accentuate shadows, highlights, and even smaller reflections. Kasi yung products, you can't just put a big reflector kasi maapektuhan yung buong texture ng product mo. You have to isolate it on certain sections only. So, in this case, more often than not, since bote ang ginagawa natin, patayo sila. Okay, so nandiyan yan. And then, for the backlight naman, para lang white yung likod, isang softbox. Like I said, why I am not exactly a fan of memorizing light informations? Because, again, sa light, you can actually create mood. So here, every light information is unique and it really depends on the kind of mood that you want to bring out of the product. And that's where the drama actually happens. So, it all boils down on the concept na gusto mong gawin. Okay, so in this case, I just want a clean, crisp, and sharp shot ng aking bote. And for this case, I just want a clean white background. Of course, later on, I will show you guys other lighting formations which shows different types of drama sa mga bote. For the surface ng bote natin, I just want a little bit more reflective. So this one, pinili ko to sa hardware, which, you know, one of those regular tiles that you buy in a tile center or sa, you know, one of those major hardware stores. It's cheap, it's not that expensive naman. And it gives you that right reflection. Again, there's so many ways of doing it. It just so happens na I found this a lot more convenient, mas rigid siya gamitin. So ayan, so na-explain ko na yung lighting formation natin, the kind of surfaces I want to the product to come out with, and little product hacks that we do to shoot your product. So without further ado, tara, let's get this show on the road and let's shoot! One of the challenges when you're lighting bottles like these, or even ito, dinagdagan na natin ng glass dyan, di ba? It gets a little bit too shiny. So usually, ang ginagawa natin dyan, we get a dulling spray. But dulling sprays are hard to come by. I mean, I used to find them in mga bookstores, but nowadays, they've been harder and harder to find. And suerte if you find them in any art supply store. Okay, but if you do, there you go. There's your dulling spray. But if you don't have access to a dulling spray, the next best thing to use is deodorant. Okay, so it really depends on which brand you want to use, but for me, the cheaper the better, because the ones na medyo mamahalin ng konti, they tend to be clearer. So we need something that's cheap enough to leave a little bit of residue on whatever surface you're spraying it on. Okay, so this turns out to be one of a better working deodorants for me, not just for my armpits, but you know, also for the glass. Okay, so ayan, so cheap dulling spray, always you can use deodorant. Okay, so of course once you spray it on the glass, you can exactly drink whatever's inside already. Okay, so ingat-ingat lang, don't make that mistake. Now, baliktarin natin yung scenario. What if you need to shoot black on black? So, ibig sabihin yan, black na yung bote, black pa yung background. So, how do you treat it if the art direction of the shot is like that? So, dito, since black is on black, baliktad. Instead of shadow, we need to show highlight. So, ngayon dito, I was looking at the texture ng bote. So, the bote is, yung bottle natin, shiny. Ibig sabihin yan, madilim patalon ng ilaw. So what happens is, I needed to have symmetrical lighting. So yung dalawang malaking strip, naka-atras sila on both sides na shot ko, so that may manipis akong linya. Ngayon, yung distance ng mga highlights ko determines the thickness of the highlight on the bottle. Okay? Tapos, of course, kung meron ka na sa gilid, kailangan sa ibabaw. Hence, meron akong ilaw na naka-boom sa taas. So, but a bottle naman is not two-dimensional, it's three-dimensional. So, ang case niyan, this top light creates a very bad highlight over here. Paano natin tatanggalin? Gumawa ako ng bubong. Okay? Using the blockers at naglagay ako ng isang nakaharang sa ibabaw. Which means, may ilaw pa rin akong bumabagsak sa rim. Highlight to sa cap ng bote, pero hindi naapektuhan yung harap. Okay? So there, I create a highlight around the bottle. Pero of course, kung ilaw sa gilid, wala kang makikita sa harap. Kailangan pang ilawan yung harap niyan. Hence, meron akong separate na ilaw na nandito. Head siya na may honeycomb grid na nakatira mismo dito lang sa harap para hindi maapektuhan yung itim ng likod. Okay. Now, I was experimenting in my head, what if itira ko sa pader dito sa wall ng studio? Hindi naman pwede kasi, like I said, shiny yung bote. If I bounce light against the wall, it will reflect against the bottle mismo. Lumalaki yung footprint ng ilaw. Kailangan ko palitin yung footprint ng ilaw. Hence, gagamit lang ako ng maliit na honeycomb grid. At ititira ko lang dito sa harap. tricks and hacks on how to shoot better product shots. And for now, mga bote. Alright, so, like I said, different bottles, iba-iba yung features, iba-iba din yung execution natin depending on the art direction that you want to take your shots to. I hope you learned something off this video, and if you like this video, please click like, of course the usual spiels, and don't forget to subscribe. And if you have comments, questions, write them down below and I will answer them as soon as I can or as soon as I see them, alright? Thanks so much for watching. Gia.